Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00. Today we're taking a look at one of the most epic and most hated Forerunner constructions ever to be found, the library. And we're going to figure out if, like many of the Forerunner constructs, it serves additional secondary and tertiary purposes aside from just housing the index and a horrific flood infestation. So, let's take a look. The library is a large structure that houses the activation index, the object used to activate the Halo ring and simultaneously initiate the repopulation process post-array activation. Library facilities are not exclusive to the Halos and are found on several other installations as well. A large quarantine zone surrounds the library, and as a structure of strategic significance it was deemed necessary to protect the library from the flood. The zone is surrounded by an enormous structure known as the Sentinel Wall. The Sentinel Walls appear to have been designed to keep an outbreak of flood around a library contained within the quarantine zone. It is honeycombed with tunnels for the Sentinels to travel through. Sentinels and Enforcers keep the flood contained while constructors keep repairing the damage that the flood inflict on the wall. In addition to the massive physical wall, the Sentinel Walls also project an energy barrier known as a containment.
Our path to the library is clear. Pick you up on the ledge ahead. Blasted machine! Make your own way to the wall, Abacus!
This shield could only be deactivated from a console deep within the wall's interior, locked in place by a series of plug locks. The Sentinel Wall, along with the containment shield it projected, can keep much of the flood from spreading across an installation and can effectively contain the flood for eons-long outbreaks, as seen on Delta Halo. However, the shield's deactivation by Arbiter Thel Vadami during his search for the activation index in 2552 ultimately allowed the flood to overwhelm the Sentinel's defences and thus move freely about Installation 05. The quarantine zone is guarded and patrolled by various Forerunner constructs, ranging from the small but necessary constructors to the standard Sentinels and Sentinel Majors to the titanic Enforcers. The quarantine zone was also kept starved of all life by the Sentinels, of which more were produced by local Sentinel manufacturing plants. Keeping the area clear of all life and dropping the temperature of the area are all containment protocols. It seems that the Sentinels or some other systems can cause the climate to change in order to prevent life from growing and or existing in this area, therefore denying the flood of any possible sources of energy, and it is believed colder temperatures inhibit the growth and spread of the flood as well. It is, however, unlikely that the change in climate was enacted by 2401 Penitent Tangent of Installation 05, as the monitor had not sent the requested security detail after approximately 287 years since the initial request for one. The interior of a library consists of multiple gigantic hallways of geometric design interconnected to one another, all surrounding the index chamber. Massive security doors are located between each section. Other floors of the structure are accessed via large circular elevator platforms. Like most structures on the Halo rings, a library also houses a network of ducts and shafts used by Sentinels or the installation's monitor to access other areas. During the flood outbreaks of Installation 04 and Installation 05, the flood were able to utilize these tunnels to move across the structure.
We must collect the index before we can activate the installation. The energy barrier surrounding the index will deactivate when we reach the ground floor. the index. Protocol requires that I take possession of the index for transport. Your organic form renders you vulnerable to infection. The index must not fall into the hands of the Flood before we reach the control room and activate the installation. The Flood is spreading. We must hurry.
Located at the heart of the library is a multi-tiered hall known as the Index Chamber, in the centre of which the activation index is suspended. In accordance with proper flood containment procedures, the reclaimer tasked with activating the installation must first deactivate an energy field surrounding the index by accessing a large elevator on the library's uppermost floor. The elevator then descends from the highest level of the library to the index's position, allowing the reclaimer to retrieve it from its container. Also, according to procedure, the reclaimer's passage through the library is assisted by the installation's monitor, whose duties also include opening the facility's various security doors. Due to its crucial importance, the library is the first target of the Flood parasite during an outbreak. As a security measure against the Flood, most libraries are separated from the rest of the installation by various types of obstacles such as moats, chasms, and the aforementioned Sentinel Walls. Access to the library itself usually occurs via each installation's internal teleportation grid. On Installation 05, 2401 Penitent Tangent was unable to assist the individuals wishing to retrieve the index in this manner. As a result, a longer, less direct route had to be taken. An anti-gravity gondola spanning a large chasm separating the installation's quarantine zone from the library. The angled energy barrier structures lining the walls of the connecting corridors of the index chamber bear many of the characteristics of Forerunner stasis fields. The energy barrier itself emits a purple hue of light bordering onto the ultraviolet. It is known that the librarian and her life workers indexed genetic imprints and living specimens. Due to space constraints, the physical specimens were limited quite heavily, and the stasis fields had to hold the specimens as well as effectively cease the passage of time within the fields, so that the occupants wouldn't age at all during the indeterminate time they'd spend in stasis. The vast majority of other species were simply catalogued in the library's immense storage facilities. An interesting point to mention is that in the closing days of the Forerunner Flood War, it is said on record that the Forerunners had only managed to index 123 sentient, technologically capable species, inhabiting 3 million worlds within the Forerunner ecumene. This implies that the galaxy likely has up to 123 intelligent, sentient, technologically advanced civilizations that, aside from the species of the Covenant and a few others, humanity have yet to encounter. So the libraries are vast archive complexes and research facilities housing the collated genetic information of numerous sentient species indexed by the life workers during the conservation measure, an effort to reseed life in the galaxy following the activation of the Halo Array. The structure also houses the activation index, the object used to activate the Halo Ring and simultaneously initiate the repopulation process of the species archived in the library, and they're just the most obvious purposes. So next time you're wandering the library and find yourself with a brief moment to look around in between killing the waves upon waves of flood, take a moment to try to figure out what else the library may be used for, and if you find anything interesting, well, you know where to find me. Thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below, I look forward to what you have to say. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons, Tenchi the Silent Cartographer, Brian, Sebastian, Holden, Define Alpha 117 and Nathan, the Holders of the Mantle. Justin, Darian, Ty, Black Biscuit, J Rabbit, Austin, Cameroptus, Brent and Kaiser, my reclaimers, Zach, Deepcover, Verbal Statue, Spesigo, Spartan A498, Guppy, Josh, Evan and Michael, my Metarchs, and all the other patrons that have jumped aboard to support the channel. You guys are awesome and all of this wouldn't be possible without you. If you like Halo lore discussed to insane levels of detail, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you're told the second a new video hits the shelves. Be sure to support us on all major social media channels, including Discord, and if you really love the channel, consider heading over to Patreon and supporting the channel over there. It would mean the world to me. It would free up more of my time to put into this content and other Halo-related goodness. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.